everyone, this is Mike, and in today's video we'll take a look at the DJI Spark's controller and everything that you need to know about it. If you're looking for the best flying experience with your Spark, then you probably know that the controller is a must-have, but if you're still on the fence whether you should get it or not, hopefully this video will help you out. Now, let's start off with the basics first, the price. If you buy the Spark's Fly More combo for $6.99, you have a couple of different accessories, the drone and the remote controller. However, if you just buy the drone for $4.99, you can buy the controller for an additional $149. So this is how the controller looks like. As you can see, we have a couple of buttons on the front and a couple of buttons on the top of the controller. Nothing on the back except for the Wi-Fi name and password. Now, the first thing that we're going to talk about is this button on the top left corner. This is the return home button. You use it when you want to return the drone at the home point. Next, we have the two sticks. The left one makes your drone go up and down if you press upwards or downwards. And when you press left or right, the drone will rotate. The right stick makes the drone go forwards or backwards, or left and right. Then we have the pause button, which pauses the flying of the drone if you are using some of the functionality from the intelligent modes such as Helix or Droney or any other intelligent mode. It will stop the drone from flying and it will hover in place. Then in the middle of the controller we have the Sport button. It's actually not a button, it's a switch. If you press it to the right, the drone will enter in sport mode and it will be insanely fast. So I highly recommend you to try this mode as it's a lot of fun, but be sure to try it in a location that is large enough so you can avoid crashing. Then we have the custom function button, which you can customize in the menu of the DJI Go 4 app. We'll get to that in a second. Then on the top of the controller we have the antennas, which plenty of people are using just upwards, but you should always turn them a bit to the side so you get one facing forward and one facing backward. That way the signal is strongest, and I always fly like this and I've never experienced any problems with my signal. So I highly recommend you to fly like this, and then you just switch it back to the regular position and you can fold them down. Then we have three buttons and one more switch. The first button is the one with the camera on it. It's a button dedicated for taking a photo. It's quite useful and I use it a lot for taking photos. Then on the back of the camera button we have another button which you can program to do a couple of different settings. Then we have on the left side we have the camera record button for videos. You simply click on it and it will start recording a video. And finally we have the gimbal wheel, which rotates the gimbal up and down, and you can also customize the speed of the gimbal rotation in the DJI Go 4 app. One of the latest updates now allows you to do so. Previously we couldn't do that, but now we have this feature. The clamps on the bottom of the controller open up and allow you to squeeze your smartphone inside so you can see the display of the camera. I've been using the iPhone 7 Plus for quite a long time now, and I don't have any issues with the phone except that it has the leather case on it, and sometimes, especially when I'm using the OTG device and cable, they don't fit very well, so I have to remove the case, put the phone without the case, and then connect the OTG device and the cable. But that's a minor thing, and I think most of the bigger phones from the past 1 or 2 years will fit quite nicely into this slot for your phone. And lastly, we have the micro USB port on the bottom of the controller, which you can use for charging the controller, but also for the OTG device that you connect to the controller and then you connect to your phone. So this is the controller for the Spark. It's quite small, quite well made, and feels great in the hand. The quality of the materials is, I would say, quite high. It doesn't feel cheap like some of the regular controllers that I've used in some other cheaper drones. This one feels nice and well made. Now that you have the remote controller in your hands, it's time to see what you can do with it and how to connect it to your drone. If you purchase the Fly More combo, chances are the remote controller is already linked to your drone. However, if you bought the remote controller separately or for any other reason your drone is not connecting to the controller, here are the necessary steps you need to take in order to link them. First, turn on the controller and then turn on your drone. Let them start up for a few seconds and observe the little light on the controller. If it blinks red, then the connection is not successful. If it's solid green, then you're good to go. If you're getting the red blinking light, don't worry, because the process for fixing that is very simple. Make sure you're connected to the Wi-Fi network of the remote controller. You will recognize it by the words RC in the network's name. Then you'll need to press 3 buttons on the controller: the pause key, the function key on the front, and the function key on the top of the controller. Press and hold until you hear a couple of beeps, then release. Once you start hearing those beeping sounds from the controller, it means that it's in linking mode and it's searching for a signal from the drone. You'll need to press the power button of the drone and hold it for 6 seconds until you hear 2 beeps. Eventually, everything will start beeping and you'll probably go crazy, but this should only last a couple of seconds and then the controller should be ready to go. Once you see the solid green light on the controller, it means it's connected and you're ready to use it. Now it's time to open DJI Go 4 app and set up your controller settings. Here you can choose between 3 different stick layouts, and configuring them is entirely up to you. I personally use stick mode number 2 as it's more convenient for me, and I've always flown my drone in mode 2, but you can pick whatever you like. You can also choose how much you want the sticks to react to your movements. You can speed them up or slow them down depending on your preference. Also in the settings you can find the gimbal wheel rotation speed, like I mentioned before. You can set a number between 1 and 100. I've set mine to 20 as I try to keep my footage as smooth and as cinematic as possible. And lastly, you can customize what the 2 customizable buttons on the remote controller can do. So you can choose between a couple of different settings. The first one is called navigation. By pressing the customizable button when navigation is selected, you will get a pop-up with every single flying mode for the Spark that you can choose from. And the next we have advanced camera settings. This is simply opening the camera settings. You can choose between different photo modes, choose panorama, single shot, multi-mode, or set up some different values for the exposure or different type of camera settings. Then we have takeoff and landing function. By having selected takeoff or landing function for your customizable key, you will be able to take off or land by pressing just the button. This is quite useful for the beginners or for anybody else that is looking to save a couple of precious seconds from the battery life. Then we have the playback button, which is going to open up your gallery with all of your photos and videos that you have taken from the Spark, and you can choose to share them or just open them. Next we have battery info, which will just open up the more detailed look for the battery. It will show you the remaining power and the voltage. Next we have AE lock or unlock. AE stands for automatic exposure. This is very useful if you're bracketing different photos together and you don't want to have different exposure values. So if you lock the automatic exposure, then you will get a consistent value for your shooting. Next we have camera forward or down. This allows you to quickly scan the area by rotating the gimbal wheel quickly up and down. It's very useful if you want to get a quick look of where you are exactly, or maybe scan for any obstacles in your way. Next, we have gimbal follow or FPV mode. This is basically a switch between the follow or the FPV mode for your gimbal. I always use gimbal follow mode, as FPV mode is used strictly with the goggles, which I unfortunately don't have. The next function that you can apply for one of the two customizable keys is the map or live view. If you select this option, then you can choose between a larger image of the map or the live view from the camera. And lastly, we have clear flight route, which basically just clears all of your flying route from the map, and you will see a clear map. And finally, we have not defined, which you can choose if you don't want to put anything on this customizable button. And that's pretty much it for the remote controller. Now, I should definitely mention that there are quite a lot of people that are recommending the OTG device and the cable. This is it. This is the OTG, and this is the cable. It's a really nice short cable that connects to my phone. As far as the OTG device, I've been using it since the beginning of owning the Spark. I got mine on the first week since I had problems with my signal, and I thought that the OTG device would help me, which it did, and it was really nice when I was using it. The signal got much better and improved quite a lot of the flying experience for me for the Spark. But ever since the last DJI update, which we had last week, I've flown the drone a couple of times, and I've seen the OTG device fails to connect sometimes, or just interrupts the connection. I don't have a better connection anymore, so I've made a small test, which unfortunately I couldn't record, but I made a small test and testing the OTG device versus just the controller after the update showed me that I can't get better results anymore. I'm not sure if DJI has made something that has changed the way the OTG device works, but now I don't have that extremely nice signal anymore. But fortunately, the controller signal got a lot better now, so I don't really need the OTG device anymore. So just a small note for you guys, if you're looking to buy an OTG device, it only costs a couple of bucks, but it could be useful for you. Unfortunately, it's not useful anymore for me, so I'm just planning to use the controller as it is right now. Anyway, that's everything that I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like rating if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Ciao!